Kia ora koutou koutou. Welcome back. We are continuing afternoon sessions of TechWeek TV 2023 with careers in tech. So in this session, we want to talk about Insurtech. So if you are not familiar with Insurtech, so Insurtech, it's a combination of insurance and technology, which is inspired from the term fintech. So today with me, we have a stellar panelist that they're all expert in these fields. So we're going to hear their stories. We want to find out about the work they do. But before that, I want to introduce Insurtech NZ, so as one of the associations of NZ Tech. So Insurtech NZ was established as a separate association with NZ Tech in June 2021. And Insurtech champions innovation that creates new insurance services and improves the customer experience. In other words, helping Kiwis respond to the changing world. So the three panelists here, so thank you so much for joining me here today. So I'll just introduce you, but I really want to hear your story from your own words. So we have Billy Myler, CIO of Fidelity Life. So thank you so much for joining us here today. We have Michelle Boyd, so Chief Compliance Officer, Folio Insure, and John Nowak, so co-founder and CTO of Krappler. So welcome all.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Let's start by hearing a little bit about your role and the company that you're working with. So, and after that, we're going to jump into what is Insurtech, what it means for businesses, what it means for people who are thinking about joining that space. Shall we start with you, Michelle? So tell us a little bit about your role.
Thank you. I'm the Chief Compliance Officer at Folio Insure, and we're an insurance technology company. We have been established for about 4 years, and we mainly do digital transformations for brokerages. And recently, we're now a licensed financial advice provider. So we support brokerages, mainly in general insurance, with their compliance requirements, their technology and their systems, so that they can provide cutting-edge compliant advice that really benefits their customers. So I'm across all the regulatory requirements from the likes of the FMA, and make sure that we roll out good compliant technology. And so I really enjoy doing that. I'm new to insurance and new to technology, but I have got a bit of experience in compliance, so that's where I fit in. Also help with some project management and help our customers really meet their needs.
Thank you for sharing that. To you, John. So I know something about you. So you're coming from the very interesting background in this field, so volcanology. So tell us about that. And
well, it's been a long journey. So I'm John Nowak, I'm from Krappler. We do insurance financials. So we're looking after what's going on between insurance companies and the brokerages, and looking at payments and stuff like that. I've come to it with very little knowledge of insurance. We've been going for years, and we still think of ourselves as a startup because we're still sort of building a lot of momentum in the market and stuff like that. I've come to it after going from volcanology to spending, 20 odd years in the IT industry.
Yeah.
And for me, it's always been about problem solving. And one of the things coming into insurance is I sort of assume in an industry like this is all the problems are solved. It's been going so long. These are huge enterprises. Surely, it's all just tweaking things. What we discovered, what we thought was going to be a short journey, has taken us a lot of complex algorithms, AI, ML, robotic process automation, a huge amount of eye-watering amount of cloud resources to try to, solve these things on a daily basis. And it's, like I say, it's a journey we're still going on. And like I say, it's coming from volcanology. It's just about as exciting. Exactly. Just the problems we've got to solve. and
it's all about problem solving.
It is,
having that knowledge and skills in a tech space.
Yeah, I mean, I know people do Sudokus for relaxation or whatever. And I look at a Sudoku and it's like, it's just my day job.
Thank you for sharing. So, Billy, to you.
Yeah, good afternoon. Billy Miller, Chief Information Officer at Fidelity Life. So unlike my startup colleagues here, Fidelity Life's been around for 50 years. In fact, we're celebrating our 50th birthday this very year. We're hugely proud to be the largest locally owned insurer. We're New Zealand owned, we're New Zealand run, and we're for Kiwis, so it's something that's really part of our DNA. We've got around 450 staff. They are all corners of New Zealand, but mostly in Wellington and Auckland. We've got about 400 of those in Auckland in brand new premises. So if you drive along Fanshawe Street and look to your left, just before you get to the motorway, you'll see a pretty cool building, which is the Fidelity Life building. We are super busy. We are just coming to the completion of an acquisition. We bought the Westpac Life business, which was a large acquisition with some understandably impatient shareholders looking for some benefits from that acquisition. So we're doing lots of work in data, lots of work in digital, lots of simplification, core system modernisation. So lots going on, and the technology team makes up about 20% of the company, which I'm responsible for.
That's fantastic. So thank you for that. So as you mentioned, insurance field, it is a data-rich field. So you're just working with data. And I think the term Insurtech is, using the technology around machine learning, data analytics, AI, IoT to help with that decision making. But again, at the end of the day, I believe they are all support decision making mechanisms. So tell us about how do you utilize technology within your workspace and some of the examples that tech we know that it's playing such an important role. I was just talking to you before about the report I saw last night. So I'm fascinated about AI and AI field. And I was wondering, in terms of industries out there, so which industries that they're highly going to be impacted with generative AI? And interestingly, banking and insurance, the top two. So thinking about insurance, very rich in data, it makes sense. But I want to hear from you working, living and breathing this field, how technology, specifically AI or, data analysis can help you and how is, heavily involved in the work that you're doing. Open it to any of you. Give it a go.
So for us, we're a software as a service provider to insurance companies. So we're really providing technology to the people within the insurance companies to enable them to do stuff. And that's where, like I say, we use AI and ML to suggest things that need to match up so that it's saving them a lot of time. We've actually replaced, thousands of spreadsheets sort of thing of people trying to analyze this sort of stuff. And it's like, here's this technology that does all that sort of pre-analysis work and just presents you with, is this what should these two things match up, for example? And then they can just confirm it. So it's sort of reducing a huge amount of workload. And the feedback we get is that our customers can grow a lot quicker than they necessarily need to. They can support a lot more growth.
So what I can hear, it's really helping with the automation and optimization of all those processes. Yeah. So that's great. Anyone wants to add anything to it? Anything else?
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, as you say, insurance is a really data-rich environment. There's lots of information out there. There's, from my perspective, we've got all our legislation, all our requirements, we've got all our policy information, and AI is a really exciting opportunity to bring all that together and come to a solution that's really fitting for a customer's needs. And what we'd love to look into in the future is using AI to get more information about the customer and really bridge that and solidify that relationship between the customer and the advisor to pull potentially live data from the customer and have a more fluid, real-time insurance relationship. And in terms of compliance, that would be the premium, where a customer always has their best interests covered at all times would be the ideal.
That's interesting. So
perhaps I can add to it as well. We're absolutely a customer-driven organisation, and the empathy that's required in our industry means that we believe that it's still about people dealing with people. So the opportunity that data and technology presents us is really about providing our people with the tools to provide greater service. I think it's fair to say, even with the advances in technology, that empathy that comes from people with real experiences dealing with people is absolutely critical. So for us, it's about equipping our people to do the absolute best job for our customers. The other piece is we've got an interesting problem to solve. In New Zealand, 70% of New Zealanders are either not insured or underinsured.
Yeah.
And we need to use that data and the analytics around it to identify who those customers are and build products that can reach that uninsured market, because that's not a good situation for New Zealand. We need to close that gap, and the use of data is at the core of it.
Yeah, you touch on a really important thing. So at the end of the day, insurance playing a really important role in our society and dealing with people that they are just facing some unexpected events. And this is all about, showing that empathy. And I think at the end of the day, all of these machines and tools, they are not capable of showing it just yet. And this is people on ground that they have to provide that. And I think that's what really motivates your team. So thank you for sharing that with us. We're talking a little bit about how we can get to this field, and we heard from you, John, about problem solving, curious about technology, want to know about the data, getting insights. These are some of the key skill sets in that space. But because we are in that stream of careers with tech, I would really like to hear from you. What are the specific skill sets that people they need to enter to that? Do they need to know about business part of it side as well? Just being a tech savvy data analyst, being a machine learning engineer, is that enough? What are the best features of the great candidate if you want to hire someone in your company? What are you looking at? So I would like to hear from you. John, do you want to start?
Yeah. So again, I'll come back to the problem solving. It's that's what I look for really. It's being able to think through a problem, and going back to a geology background. Walking up to a rock outcrop, a complex rock outcrop, is not a lot different in the thought process and the mental sort of operations as it is to walking out to a complex functional specification or whatever, or business problem. It's all about, what do I know? What can I get more information on? Who can I ask? How can I break this down into smaller problems and stuff like that? So a lot of it just comes down to being, I guess, eager and interesting enough to learn, and then apply those learning to solving those problems, and that sort of being able to dig up, where problems are and what the solutions can be. And then the coding comes in after that, and that's
it's a capability of breaking down the complex problem to the tiny steps and going through them. Great.
So we have all sorts of roles: data engineers, business analysts, actuarial scientists, testers. The list goes on. And whilst it's so important that we attract and retain some of the strongest capability in those roles, we are placing increased importance on diversity, because a team of rock stars that can't work well together are just a team of individuals that aren't going to be able to solve problems, to John's point. So it's also about people that can work in a team. We are investing heavily in modern technology, but modern technology only works with modern working practices, so agile, so teamwork, cross-functional teams. That means understanding of business problems is just as important as understanding the technology to solve them.
That's great.
I think the other thing with the ML, with machine learning and our large language models and stuff like that, is I think we need more diversity of thought as well, so people can sort of pick up early on potential problems, So I think we're not just, we're not all thinking the same way. It's becoming
and I think this
important.
was the messages repeated throughout all the sessions today. So we need diversity of thought in the game industry. We need a diversity of thought, bringing our younger generation on board and hearing from them. Businesses, they need diversity of thought, and this is why they have to actually get interns on board. And thank you so much for, re-emphasizing that. Michelle, to you.
Thank you. It was interesting seeing the last panel speak about gaming. Two of our developers have a history in gaming development, and they bring a lot to the table, like diverse thinking, application, and enthusiasm for what they're building. And so we've got quite a bit of a diversity in our organisation. And like myself, my experience isn't in tech or insurance, but can kind of all bring something different to the table. But yeah, to your point, like enthusiasm and diversity, and in terms of like a careers perspective, and thinking about like a data career, perhaps like a diploma in computer science, and kind of learning the basics, learning the protocol, or jumping in and learning on the job, I think would be a really great approach.
Thank you. And Michelle, this job is your very first role in Insurtech, and it's a very first job in a startup. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah.
So how did you find that?
Yeah, I've come from like a brick and mortar organisation, and coming into a startup. Yeah, it's always really exciting, and it's fast paced. We work with a lot of very like enthusiastic and passionate people. Everyone's really hardworking, and after all, we're building everything from the ground up. So there's, we do tend to come into the office a lot because we're always talking about some cool and exciting ideas, and we miss out if we don't, which is, it's fun.
Great. That's fun.
Yeah.
Thank you. We only have a few minutes. This is a topic we can talk for hours. So in that few minutes, I really want to hear one piece of advice for people who love data and tech, curious about insurance, that where to go if you know any certification, micro-credentials, online courses, podcasts, any takeaway for our viewers. So we would like to hear from you. So Billy, we start from you.
Yes, I might take a different angle on that actually, rather than books or training courses or certification, and remind us that we've got an incredibly powerful CRM. It's called LinkedIn, and
Yes.
and that database provides access to people like us that are currently in the industry. And what I would say is we are probably all contacted multiple times each day from people trying to sell us something. But I have to say I've got a soft spot when someone contacts me around opportunities, and I think it's our responsibility as professionals that have been in the industry for some time to take that 30 minutes out of our day, buy a coffee, have a conversation, talk about the opportunities that are there, opportunities elsewhere, share our experience. So I would say the one piece of advice: don't be shy. LinkedIn is a hugely powerful tool. Jump on there, do a search, and just send out some coffee invites, and I can guarantee you'll get a number of acceptances coming back.
Great piece of advice, and thank you for your willingness, to the community by offering, generously your time to provide advice. So take that opportunity, connected with all of our panelists, and hopefully you will continue this conversation after today. To you, John.
I think you mentioned a few. There's so many certifications, and pretty much any of them are good. Any opportunity to learn is always good, and we always keep learning. And I think that's the thing. If you're young and starting out, I think getting those certifications just sort of kind of establishes that you can learn, and I think that's what I always sort of look for, and that's what I was always taught. Is like just show that you can learn, and then the world's your oyster in a way. And I think that it just any of that is a step in the right direction. Then, as you say, if you can make those connections with people as you go, then that's your way in. And like I say, there's so many. The insurance industry is so broad and so complex that there's just so many opportunities in there. Once you've established that ground, you're in.
Great piece of advice. So all of those certifications, they are good incentives, but I think at the end of the day is really that what you know and who do you know in this space that can actually provide you with a real, advice and real experience. To you, Michelle.
Yeah, already getting some foundational knowledge is great, but to your point, Billy, your network and making referrals as well. Like if you don't have a position for someone, you probably can refer them in the right direction. So you'd be a really good mentor for someone, and get networking.
Get networking. That's a good advice. So thank you so much for sharing your valuable insight, expertise with all our viewers. So I'm sure that they found it really informative and really engaging. Wish we had more time so we could discuss more. I had a list of questions to ask, but unfortunately we don't have time. But I invite all our viewers to keep watching. Please stay tuned. And my co-host, Eti, will be with you to take you through the rest of this afternoon. Kia kaita.
Thank you.
Thank you.